What happens when what you see is different than what God says? That's exactly what we're going to be exploring today in our identity series. We will be talking about the case of the mistaken identity. Now, welcome to YEM'S World. It's your girl, Yem. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. We're coming to you live from the spot. We're going to look at a scripture in the Bible. You know, we always are Bible-based, but we're going to look at a scripture today that talks about people who thought that they were grasshoppers, even though God had already told them that they were great and mighty warriors, though not specifically. But let's just take a look at Exodus 3 verse 17. Exodus 3 verse 17 says, "And I have declared that I will bring you out of the affliction of Egypt to the land of the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Amorite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, a land flowing with milk and honey." So God has said, look, I'm bringing you into a land, and people are already there. So obviously, if that land is going to become yours, you are going to have to take over the land. So you guys are going to be mighty conquerors because you're about to go and conquer. Okay? Now, Moses, after receiving this declaration and instruction from the Lord, Moses now he gathers his people and he's like, look, okay, God said he's going to give us this land, but let's go check it out. Let's see what the land is like, what the people are like, what the topography is like. Let me know what it is. So let's take a look at that scripture, which is taken from Numbers 13, verses 17 to 20. Let's read. Moses sent them to scout out the land of Canaan. And he said to them, get up this way by the south and go into the hill country and see what the land is and whether the people who dwell there are strong or weak, few or many, and whether the land they live in is good or bad, and whether the cities they dwell in are camps or strongholds, and what the land is, whether it is fat or lean, whether there is timber on it or not, and be of good courage. Bring some of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes. Okay, so Moses is telling them, look, go into the land, go spy it out, go see what the people are like, and check everything out, right? So they do that. They do just that. They go there and they see a lot of different things. They do see truly that, wow, this land is a good land. It's got good fruit and everything, except there's only one problem. There's these people that are kind of big and tall. Us compared to them, let me just read how they describe themselves. So in Numbers 13, verse 33, this is what they say. It says, there we saw the Nephilims, or giants, the sons of Anak, who come from giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight. They saw themselves as grasshoppers. These are people who God had already basically called mighty warriors, great conquerors, and champions, because I'm going to take you to a land that is inhabited and you're going to take over. And look, you know, when I think about this story, honestly, I begin to feel bad for them because I see myself very clearly in these people. Moses tells them to do this thing and they literally just report back what they see. But what happens when what you see is different than what God says? It's something that we got to deal with. And I'll tell you one thing. Personally, I am living this situation right now because God told us a few months ago to take a step. He told us to make a decision, and it's a big decision, and we're still in the midst of it, so I don't want to get into the details. But he told us to take a step, and I just was like, Lord.
I feel like Jacob when he was wrestling with the angel.
I'm like, Lord, I don't, this is not, I mean, based off of what I know you said this, but this is, what I'm seeing is not, it doesn't add up. We don't have the capacity to do what you're telling us to do. We literally don't have the capacity. And God didn't budge. He said what he said. And I'm like, all right, well, this is what I see. And so I identify with these people so much. I really do, because I'm like, they literally were just stating facts. They were just saying what they saw. But the problem is, this is where faith comes into play. What happens when what you see is different than what God says? Well, then you need faith. Now, there's 3 things that you need to do when you're in this situation. The first is think back to what God has done for you in the past. If the Israelites had just literally thought back to, I don't know at this point if this was a few months later or a few years later, if they had just thought back, wait, hold on. God literally parted the Red Sea, caused us to walk on dry ground. I mean, if he speaks to the sea and the sea listens, then I mean, I don't know what kind of land is over. It don't matter what kind of land is over there. He's going to speak to that land, and those people are going to listen. That's all they had to do, was just to think back. But they couldn't. Now, the second thing you need to do is, honestly, like I said, it takes faith. So you need scriptures that are going to help you build up your faith. Now, I told you that we literally are in this season right now where God is telling us to take a leap of faith. And I'm like, Lord, what you're saying and what I'm seeing, 2 different things. What you need to do is find scriptures that are going to build up your faith. Find scriptures that are going to support what God is telling you to do. And this is what happened to us. We were doing our normal morning devotion. We're studying the book of Psalms. And we get to Psalm chapter 85. And we get to verse 12. And the scripture literally jumps off the page, slaps me right across the face. And here's what it says, and I hope that you're blessed by this. He says, yea, I will do that which is good, and I will bring an increase to your land. As soon as I read that scripture stuck to me, because I knew he was speaking to me, that I've told you to do this. I'm not going to pull the chair from under you. I'm going to back you up. This is going to turn out good. I know what you see is different than what I'm saying, but this is going to turn out well. This is going to work together for your good. Trust me. And so when I read this scripture, I'm like, okay, Lord, okay. Find scriptures that are going to build up your faith, that when you are doubting, listen, I believe, help my unbelief. That's another scripture. I quote that a lot. Faith. The third thing you need to do is pray. Your word says, be anxious. The Bible tells us, be anxious about nothing. There is nothing too big or too small that you need to be worrying about. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, with prayer and thanksgiving, prayer, supplication, with thanksgiving, make your requests known to him. Period. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to fret. When those thoughts and those things come to us, all we need to do is put them back at his feet and say, with thanksgiving, say, Lord, I know you're going to do this. I put this at your feet. This is becoming a burden on me, Lord. I'm handing it over to you. Because you say your burden is easy and your yoke is light. So why should I carry the burden? I hand this to you. And you do that in prayer. You do that in prayer. And the Lord will help you to understand who he has created you to be. He will help you to understand who he wants you to be, who he's turning you into, who he's molding you into. He's going to help you to identify your true identity. All right, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me. I pray that you are blessed. And once again, I just want to echo that scripture to you. The Lord will do that which is good, and he's going to bring an increase. Go forward with that word. May the Lord bless you. Until next time, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the video. All right, guys. Bye.